A super fantastic sparkling day. My apologies for being late. I fell asleep in my recliner. So sorry about that. It happens. It happens. I had an early start this morning, but that's okay. Welcome to Porchlight Letters podcast number 2491. And today our topic is a missing record does not mean a person never existed. Records can be lost, destroyed, never created, or simply not yet found. People live real lives. They loved, they worked, they struggled, and left their footprints in many ways besides official documents. So one of the most frustrating moments in genealogy research is searching for a record that simply isn't there. No birth certificate, no census entry, no immigration record, excuse me, no marriage record. But a missing record does not mean a person never existed. Excuse me. Historic records can disappear for many reasons: fires, floods, wars, poor record keeping, name changes, spelling variations, records never being created in the first place. Yeah, because it wasn't required by some towns, cities, states, counties, etc. to start keeping records until a certain date in history. I think here in the States, it's like the 1930s, I want to say. Yeah, I think. Don't quote me on that. I'll have to go back and research that. Some people lived in places where documentation was inconsistent. Others may have avoided official records altogether. Yep, maybe out on the farm and sort of like, yeah, we can't bother traveling to town. We can't afford to travel to town, so therefore we're not going to record anything. But it may be recorded in their family Bible. And sometimes records still exist, but have not yet been digitized or indexed online. We have talked about this in the past, that there is about 5% or less of all the available records in the world that are currently available online. We are talking millions and millions and millions of records that only represent 5% of or less of all the records available in the world that are online. So there is still a lot of boots on the ground stuff that you have to do to go and do some research, or get hold of a family history society or genealogy society in the area where your relatives or your ancestors lived, and ask them to go and research some of the physical records where they still have to do boots on the ground because they haven't been digitally indexed. And there are some that cannot be digitized. An index can be digitized to say that, yes, we have this book, we have this, but we can't take a copy of it because of the copyright laws. So there's some copyright laws come into effect on some of the books and records that are out there that you may see an indexing online for, but you can't access it online. When you call, they actually need you to go into the office, physically be there to see the stuff, because they cannot photocopy. They can't take a copy of the records because of copyrights. So you actually have to have somebody physically go there and stand there and transcribe the information into a notebook so that you at least know what's on the document. Yes, there are still places where it's very much a manual system. That's why good genealogy research requires patience, creativity, and persistence. It is not a sprint. It is a marathon. When one record is missing, researchers often turn to newspaper articles, church records, land records, probate files, family letters, family Bibles, city directories, DNA matches, community histories, and archives and many other places out there. And genealogy is not about piecing together lives from the clues left behind. And often the story is still there, even when it's obvious that it has not been recorded. And I love when I get a chance to go into some of the records out there and actually go into the libraries or the archives and get to go and see the original documents in person. I love that. Love being able to do that. So, if you need help with researching, you've got a brick wall because you can't find a record, use one of the ones that we've got listed there, or there may be other records as well. There could be employment records, school records. What are the ones that were not on that list? School records, employment records, tax records, election rolls. They've got census reports are in there, but New Zealand does a census, but it doesn't record the information like the US does. So therefore you'll be looking at the electoral rolls that come out every 3 years, where it has the person's name, where they're living, and what their occupation is. So, the stuff is out there. You just got to know where to go. If you need help knowing where to go, just come up here to this QR code, scan the QR code, and set up a 30-minute discovery call so we can get you on the path of finding those missing records, or records that can help give you the information that you need, because the birth record may not be available or the wedding record may not be available. So there's ways to find information. It's just where to look next, and we can help you with that. So with that, we are out of here. Go out, have a super fantastic, sparkling evening, and we'll see you guys back here tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Pacific.